JTV. Agree or disagree, it's a place for you. 22:39 on the UK time. We're back here with part 3. Osiris and Geb in the Bible, the presence. Special guest is here, Tar Kinoo Noopooh, back in the building. My brethren from across the pond. Where am I? Where am I? Talk to the people, Tar.
True peace. Welcome back with another special edition. And, we're going to pick up from where we left off last night. We left off about the Schumann resonance and the what they call the heartbeat of the earth. And it's not that the earth has a heartbeat in the sense of a human, but they're saying the sound it makes and how it beats is similar to the heartbeat. And so because of the sound that the lightnings that strikes at certain parts of the planet that go all the way around and combine, they call it a heartbeat. But the point is the fact that the earth in that magnitude of how they was observing that and the way the heart of a human is pretty much the same. So it's not that that's the heart of the planet, because actually, like I told y'all, we're standing on the skull of Mother Goddess Earth. And between the skull and the outer part of the head, the scalp.
Right.
Basically, it's like what we're standing on. It's kind of like this the scalp, not the skull per se, but there is a space when I was using the space between the skull and the scalp. It was kind of similar to where we're at, where we're on the scalp, and there's a gap of space between also on the surface or the scalp of the planet and the upper atmosphere. So that's the differences there, because if we was actually inside of up underneath the ground, the scalp, we couldn't live. So there's similarities with human beings and the planets. If you watch some of the other videos I did on certain chapters of the Bible, the book of Zechariah, the book of Daniel, and I think the book of Joel, and I think some out of one of the books of Ezekiel and Revelations, all those planets are actually what's being referred to, and they changing it to images of animals and stuff like that. And so therefore, right after that, I said I was going to show, I was looking for it last night on part 2 at the ending of where I show you that the actual zodiac signs are actually body parts. And when you break down the names of the constellations, it confirms what Alfred Unu said in the Nature of Nature, Book 3, which he finished before he passed in 2007. That's the last book that he put together, and he passed in 2011. So the video that I found after we stopped doing the broadcast, Jade has it already set up to play. So we're gonna watch that video so I can kind of explain to y'all about this, just more expanding in that the Earth, as well as by extension, the solar systems and constellations are actually part of a grand design of the universe, which is the biggest being that can exist. So this is a video I did a couple of months ago that he's going to show. And if he got any questions or if I need to intercede, I'll tell him to stop so we can just kind of look at that. Then we'll jump back to finish the we're still on the first video. No, we're on part 2, right?
We're on the second video, but we're at the start of this of the second video of Osiris and Geb in the Bible. But it's all lined up. So let's kick this one.
All right, go ahead.
Thanks for the intro. So we're gonna kick it. All right. And as he said, he's gonna we're gonna be pausing it now and again. I may have some questions. He may have something to add on, to expand. Right. So we'll kick the video and let's see how we get on. So we're at 1612.
We got to go back to 14 and 14 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, 1 sec. Yeah. 14. So here should be
how it looks, the neuron anatomy and all of that. Here is the brain, which is this. As it gets bigger and then it starts rotating, it starts getting smaller, and you see these little, it spins off other suns and they spin off and it sends off these lightning. But you can see these look like tentacles, the same as these look like tentacles. All right, and it says the alpha nebula of the universe. All right, now we have the brain. This is parts of the brain. So once you go over here, we start. Remember, I'm showing you how a human being is formed, and it's actually in the form of the universe, which is a being itself. All right. So when you look at this, this is showing you it fits with the brain. All right. In the Virgo, or the brain constellation, is a sun called the Spica star. Spica is Latin meaning ear of grain. So now, if you go back up here, just for the practices, you go to see Virgo, and across from the Virgo is the brain. This is why we're saying that. All of this fits. Just like our ancestors knew, as above, so below, so above. So when you start talking about being the image and likeness, they took it and changed it for religion and say that man is in the image and likeness of God. But when you realize that a universe is the biggest being it is. All right. The pineal gland, which resides in the brain, is about the same size of a kernel of corn, which is defined as grain. When you compare grain to the size of the pineal gland, are quite similar. All right, so here, this is where the pineal gland resides, and you can see the grain is about the same size. All right, they did a lot of hiding to confuse people and make you think that it's other than a being, and that's why they have to play astrology and astronomy down in such a way and misconstrued, so people, don't think that it really is a function of a greater being and that we're just small parts of it. Another brain star is found in the Andromeda constellation called the Alpha Star. Notice both constellations basically have the same formation. All right, so.
Tar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you want to kind of maybe explain again what you were saying there? I don't know if you want me to replay it. I kind of got a bit lost, or I can maybe tell you what I gather.
But this is what I'm trying to tell you. When you break down the name of the zodiac constellations, they hear what it really means. Like if you go to the Nature book 3, right? It let me see, because let me do that real quick, because that's gonna help with the visuals. And then we'll go back. Hold on.
I was looking at the what kind of hit me was when you're talking about the brain and the similarities with the universe. It kind of instantly kind of made sense. But what I was thinking about was all the because the brain is so complex and has so many, you could kind of imagine that it has kind of like little stars, and it has different attachments linking up to each other. So that's what kind of instantly, like a light bulb kind of I made a connection there. Was that what you were saying?
Wait a minute, hold on. Give me one. I'm trying to pull up an image for you. You know what I need? I need a picture of the Zodiac. You got one on your phone? I'm trying to find an image real quick. I'm a two image. I got one already, but I want to show you what I'm talking about. Hold on. Checking my email. Let me see. Check my phone. Yeah, it's complicated at first, only because
No, I was asking with what I just said to you. Am I on the same kind of page, or am I wrong or right, or that there's similarities? Are you trying to say like there's similarities with the brain and the universe?
yeah, with the brain, I'm trying to show you about the I'm going into the part of, like, if you go back, right, when you look at the brain, like the pineal gland, and then you're going to have to run it back just a little bit.
Let me run it back. But what I was asking you is, Tar, say for an example, the brain and the setup of the brain.
That's cute as saying
Is
to me.
there similarities with that and say like constellations?
Yeah, the brain itself is send it to my noon questions and answers if you got it. No, what I'm saying is the universe, all the universes, right, are beings, and the universes have similar body parts for the most part, that because human beings are made in the same way. We are in the image and likeness of the universe, but we're not shaped the same. You understand? It's a bigger version, which I was going to get to that as we get further down. The brain, our brain, is shaped like the constellation that you see, that it's actually a brain, but I think they call it the Virgo constellation. But the Virgo constellation is actually the brain.
Okay.
It's not what what they're making it out to be. I'm just trying to find this particular picture.
I think we've had a conversation about this where I think I was explaining to you about one of the nebulas that I saw, and for myself, it looked like a huge life form when it zoomed out. with all these constellations, it seemed to be zooming out. It looked like a huge being. I think I remember that. I don't know if you remember that conversation we had. There was a nebula.
Yeah, I probably don't recall it, but we had so many conversations. But but all of the constellations, all 88 of them, which is in our universe, are body parts, and there's 7 of each. And let me until I get there, I just asked somebody to send me the picture to know that.
All right, for an example, I don't know if you can see this on your screen. There's one here, and it's called like the Tarantula Nebula. Now, for myself, I don't see a tarantula in that. I kind of see something. I can like see something like it's got a stomach. It's like maybe got a limb on the left hand side here. It's got like a head at the top here, and this one even looks like it's got legs. That's the first I've seen this one. But okay, let me leave you to.
Well, I'm trying to see if I got the picture in mind. 1 second.
Can you see the picture that I'm looking at right now?
Mm-hmm. And see, that's the
What
thing.
do you think about that? What I just said.
What I'm saying is, I don't think I remember that one, but I don't know if I came across that one in mine. But let me see something. All right, so hold on. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. All right. Where's my thing at? I wonder why it's not showing. All right, let's see what I'm about to do. Hold on. Let's see if I can pull up the entire screen. That's not it. So what they doing stuff is hard. Okay, presentation, screen share. I think I got it this time. Hold on. All right, can you see that?
Not yet.
Okay, it's not showing. Give me a second. I'm trying this presentation thing. Just give me 1 second. Okay, desktop. Why is it not doing it though? Interesting. Upload files, PDF.
While you're doing that, can I just run the video while and then you let me know? Because just in case for the video.
Yeah, hold on, because it's gonna. You need to see this. I don't know why it
I
won't.
know, but
It
yeah,
won't
okay.
screen share to my desktop for some reason. I don't understand that. That's the only thing I'm having a problem with. The old playtime, we used to just be able to do that. I'm gonna export as a PDF. Let me see. I'm just trying something real quick. Desktop PNG. Let me see if this will work. One more thing. Let me see if this is gonna work. Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna try this one more time. Oh man. All right. Excuse me. I can't do that. Excuse me. All right. What did I have? All right. All right. I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna try this one right here. What is this? Download. All right. It's gonna be the last try. If not, we're just gonna run the video. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to pull up this other page of the picture, but it said unable to share the system to allow screen recording for the browser. What is that? It won't allow the
All right, Tar, listen, I'm gonna kick the video, okay? Let's gotta keep this thing kind of moving while you're doing your stuff, okay?
All right, go
So
ahead.
let me run the video, and we'll get back to that, okay?
Hold
But
on.
I've pulled it
Wait,
back.
wait. Do you see that?
What's that?
The screen share?
Oh yeah, I can see that now.
All right. Now, this is
Let me
how
pull it up. Let me pull it
Afro.
up first, Tar. 1 sec.
Uh,
Where are we? Okay.
you need to make me zoom it in.
No, it's not that. I can't see your thing right now. 1 sec. Ah. Okay. Here we go.
You see it? You can see it, right?
Right, it's up on the screen now.
All right. So in the book, in book 3, in the Nature book 3, right? Afro has the zodiac signs by name. He didn't have the actual body parts. When Anoop figured this out, then he added the body parts for the names that Afro had in book 3. So you see in the small circle in the middle, you have Cancer, but the actual organ that the Cancer is not a crab, it's lungs. The Leo is the heart, Virgo is the brain, Libra is the liver, Scorpio is the kidney, Sagittarius is the stomach, Capricorn is the bladder, Aquarius is the intestines, the Pisces is the genitals, and Aries is the bone marrow, and Taurus is the skeleton system, and Gemini is the flesh. So how Anu able to check what Afro Uno was saying was he started looking at the stars and the biggest stars, and then started looking at the names of those stars. And when you look at the names of those stars, they started showing that they was named as what the function of these organs were doing. So that's why when you read the nature books, they tell you that when the sixth ether came in, the energies changed and became in the image and likeness of animals, because sixth ether means the coming of animals and mankind. But originally, when Noopooh was emanating through the stars, these things were operating as body parts and organs. If you understand what I'm trying to say. I don't know if that's making sense. I got the other picture. I just got to resend it to myself.
Let me take your screen off. Do you want to still share your screen because you're showing your emails?
I'm gonna share the screen again.
Yeah, give me 1 second, please. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let me take that off because you're showing your personal stuff. Right. Okay, go on. Okay, what did you say, Tar?
I'm finna share the screen again, or can you see it?
Okay.
You see it?
Yeah.
It's a different picture, correct?
Yes, it is a different picture.
Okay, cool. So if you look over here, this is coming out of Introduction to the Nature, book 3. You see right here, this is 6 West, where evolution started. And you got Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, right? We're now in the Libra section. So from Aries to the end of Virgo right here is 18 million years. We're in the Libra section. You got Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius. Now, that's how 6 ether changed the dimension and the structure and the perception of these organs originally. See, Aries' original function is of a bone marrow, so it's right across at 6 east. Right? Taurus, skeleton, like I told you. Gemini, flesh. Cancer is the lungs. Leo is the heart. Virgo is the brain. Libra is the liver. Scorpio is the kidney. Sagittarius is the stomach. Capricorn is the bladder. Pisces is the intestines. No, Pisces is the Aquarius is the intestines. Pisces is the genitals. And you're talking about 72 million years of changing. It doesn't mean that there's 2 types of Aries or 2. No, it's only 12. But when Zupu comes in, Zupu changes the bone marrow into the Aries and start using it for the animals and things that come on that from when they come in. So the top half, Noopooh uses these, and it's different. But Zupu comes in and take those same things and creates a mirror. Everything down here is opposite to what Noopooh was doing up here. So Noopooh used marrow, skeleton, flesh, lungs, heart, brain, liver, kidney, stomach, bladder, intestines, and genitals, right? When Zupu comes in, which is, remember, the N and the Z are opposites. So Zupu in 6 ether transforms bone marrow into Aries energy. Skeleton turns into Taurus, like that. Over millions and millions of years, they turn. And so this is what people are not understanding. So again, once you get to what I'm talking about with the brain, right, its bottom half perception is Virgo or Virgin. But I break down what the brain really is, and they showing you Virgo. So now we can go back. and you can start over, and then look at it from that. And just stop me where you wanted to understand your questioning again, because I just wanted to show you how we even got to this point to even talk about the organs and stuff in the videos. All this is based off of book 3. So you can run it back just a little bit and just listen closely to what I'm saying. Now, so remember the brain.
A being, and that's why they have to play astrology and astronomy down in such a way, because the information been misconstrued. So people, don't think that it really is a function of a greater being and that we're just smaller parts of it. Another brain star is found in the Andromeda constellation called the Alphabet Star. Notice both constellations basically have the same formation.
See? You see that?
All right, so again, once you break the spell, which the nature books does that, and sound right reason in general helps you get away from.
Do you see that? See, when you look at it, see, when I broke up the brain, right? Because if you go back, this is how it tells on itself. Because you got spica. So that's like go back. Yeah, go back above me going down to the brain. Because I'm showing you how to duplicate what I did to how I got to this particular point. When I seen what Anu did, I just took it a little further and went beyond the 12 constellations that he did based off of Alpha Unu's work, because I knew everything was similar, even though it was pre-programmed in us to accept it without even knowing how did they come to this point. Go back a little bit more, because I go to
that it's other than a being. When you compare grain to the size of the pineal gland, are quite similar.
Right there. Go back.
All right. So here, this is where the pineal gland resides, and you can see the grain. It's about the same size. All right. They did a lot of hiding. Above, so below, so below, so above. So when you start talking about being the image and likeness, they took it and changed it for religion and say that man is in the image and likeness of God. But when you realize that a universe is the biggest being it is.
Yeah, right here. Pause it.
All right. The pineal gland, which resides in the brain, is about the same size of a current.
Pause it right there. See, in the Virgo constellation is a sun called the Spica star. Spica in Latin means ear of grain. So what we're doing is I was looking for certain stars that was in the 12 zodiac constellation we have, right? And once we get back down there, I looked at the Virgo, right? And the way it's shaped, so I kept looking for certain stars that had the same type of star, what a Spica star is in the Virgo constellation. And then once I found the other constellation, the Spica constellation, I think it's the same formation, damn near like the Virgo. And then I started looking at what the word Spica means, right? And it means a ear of grain. So when you hit pause and when you hit play and then get down there to the brain, you see me going to the what? Inside of the brain is the pineal gland. When you break down the pineal gland, it goes down to when you look at the word Spica means ear of grain, then I knew that the pineal gland is shaped like an ear of grain. All I'm doing is following the information and the definition of these constellations that's showing you that whoever changed the name of the zodiacs before it got into the Caucasian them hands had to know what this was originally because of the names they chose in the way that we were told that these constellations name were. That's why when you read them and look it up a little bit, they'll take you back to mystery and mythology. But when you start really, really looking at the origin of the name and then studying the stars, that's when I flipped it to astronomy, right? And astronomy, that's when I started looking at the stars that was in all these different constellations and was able to get here. But go ahead now. We should be good now. You can unpause it now. We good. Kernel of corn, which is defined as grain. When you compare grain to the size of the pineal gland, are quite similar. All right, so here, this is where the pineal gland resides, and you can see the grain. It's about the same size, all right? They did a lot of hiding to confuse people and make you think that it's other than a being. And that's why they have to play astrology and astronomy down in such a way, because the information been misconstrued. So people, don't think that it really is a function of a greater being and that we're just small parts of it. Another brain star is found in the Andromeda constellation called the Alpha Star. Notice both constellations basically have the same formation. Right, pause. All right, so again, once you break the spell, which the nature books does that, and sound right reason in general helps you get away from the human or animal figure that they imposed upon us with us not knowing, so you don't have your guards up and we just accept this stuff because a lot of us don't even care because you're like, there's something that went on, and you just go on about your business. But if you break away from that and look at the stars function in each one and also the shape, you're able to see that. So if you tilt this a little bit, the bottom part look like this. They're not going to be identical, but you will be able to see it if you got right knowledge. All right, so here both contain blue subgiant stars, Spica A, Spica B, and then you have the Alpha star. All right, they all pretty much do the same thing. When you look at it from the way they color code the stars and put them in groups according to heat, that'll help you be able to go into any of these stars, these constellations, and find them similar to the ones in the 12 that we know. Alpha is Arabic, meaning the horse's navel. It represents the mythological princess head. This is where the brain resides. All right, I wanted you to look and see if you see the similar shape of the Virgo and the Spica star constellation. Yeah, just a little bit. You see? Can you hear me? Yeah, I can't hear you. All right, so that's all I just wanted you to, to speak on it. But if you look at the Spica constellation and the Andromeda, you can pretty much see they are the same constellations. Just a little bit. One is if you like alter or move the if you rotate it halfway, you can still see it, but not just they physically similarly look the same, but they got the same kind of stars in it and they operate the same. That was the whole point that I'm trying to make, but keep going. Ones in the 12 that we know.
Alpharets is Arabic, meaning the horse's navel. It represents the mythological princess head. This is where the brain resides, in the head. The brightest star of the constellation is Alpharets, a second magnitude double star of white and purplish color located in the head. It is a very fortunate influence and is renowned for attributing honor, harmony, popularity, and wealth. The name is derived from an Arabic phrase meaning the horse's navel, from a time in early Arabian astronomy when it was associated with the constellation Pegasus, and later Arabian astronomy taken from Ptolemy was known as the head of the woman in chains, or more simply as Andromeda's head by Lilly and his contemporaries. Once again, Ptolemy took information that we had already laid down in Kemet before the Phoenician, aka Arabs, who was there, who invaded Kemet 3000 BC, and then the Hyksos Jews came in 1,000 years later, 2000 BC, and eventually, as they lost.
Now look what it says. It said the brightest star of the constellation is Alpharets, a second magnitude double star of white and purplish color located in the head. Now, for those who deals with the chakras, they'll tell you that the crown chakra in the brain is purple. So this is also more proof that this is all lines up and that it was no coincidence. So these people know, that's what I mean. You got a scientific explanation, right? They'll tell you that this star produces purplish color, but you got a lot of people, like I told you, who's in the Kemetic community don't have the scientific or the higher knowledge of how all of this stuff connects. And you had them say, yeah, it's above, so below, but they can't connect this because they're not even aware of it. So that's another point to understand about the Virgo constellation is similar to the Spica constellation. All right, and the brightest star in there is the Alpharets, and Alpha meaning the first. We know the brain is the top. All right, and then look at the word Ra is in that word, Alpha or Alpha Rat Ra. All right, we can keep going.
As the Phoenician Arabs lost power and the Jews started moving up in rank and things like that, eventually it became weak enough to where Alexander the Greek came in and they took over that information and they took credit for it. All right, so you see us as Noon is breaking down the true purpose and identification of these constellations, you'll see that the later day people of non-African descent and didn't know about this information all follow the deception of thinking that these are symbolic of animals and people and stuff, and that's not the case. All right, so this is a drama. Like I said, we was all given these different images, and we just went with it. We didn't have no brain power up against it. We just went with it. All right, now we're dealing with the spine. It's the spine of a human being. This is the spine of this universe called a Big Dipper and Little Dipper. So when you look at them in this form, you know that the spine has certain vertebrae that brings oxygen to the brain. And this is what the Jed pillar really represents in ancient times. All right, so the vertebral arteries run through the spine, takes red oxygenated blood to the brain. The Big Dipper, VY Canis Majoris star, the Little Dipper, Ursa Minoris, or Ursa Minor, and the H1504 plus 65 both produce oxygen as well. These are oxygen producing stars. All right, they're producing oxygen for the help of the universe. It's not
producing oxygen for planets like Earth, because the planet itself has these things already in it. These stars are emanating this stuff into the atmosphere of the universe herself. All right, so these are the type of stars that produce oxygen. Just look it up. Another related Big Dipper spine constellation is called the Corvus constellation. When you look at their shapes, you can see it's no coincidence. And Menkar comes from Corvus. See, Epsilon Corvus. That's from this constellation. So as you can see, you got the Big Dipper, both of these on this side, and then this one, you break away from the shape. You can see it. Like I said, once you get away from believing the image of a big bear, a little bear, and a scorpion and a crab and all that stuff, and you look at it scientifically based upon the evidence, because we got Noon, so Noon helps us understand this directly, and that everything came later. All right.
You can pause.
So with evolution, so
we can jump back.
The same kind of star or stars that operate.
So, you know, that's how we got here. The Nature Books 3, and I think he talks about the zodiac a little bit, the big zodiac, the long zodiac, and I think, are you searching for knowledge? Read me, or Introduction to the Transcript. But in book 3, he puts that whole thing in there about the body parts and stuff like that. It just took us some time to know how to extract the knowledge from what's already here. And a lot of this we had to wait till science caught up with the ancients, and they were able to see what we knew was already out there, even regardless of not having no telescopes, because the planets and the orbs told our ancestors and other human races what was out there. And so once science caught up with it, and you can look at the names that these different mankind people were naming this stuff, you knew that it was true. Because Afro Uno didn't work inside of a laboratory with telescopes and all this stuff. So you have to ask yourself, how the hell did he know that the constellations were body parts? You see what I'm saying? So the books answer those questions. And then we did the same thing. We did the work to check, to prove what he said was right in his act, and it was. So I just did those few constellations to prove that the universe have organs just like we got.
Okay.
So if you want to switch over to the where we left off at, that'd be cool.
Translated as Ghost of Matthew 14:26 is the Greek word phantasma, meaning illusion, phantom, specter, or most commonly ghost.
Oh, we finished
Luke
part
24:37, the Greek word is pino.
I think we finished part 1 last night. This part 1.
Give me a second there.
It's just, where do we
It
start?
shines a new ghost particle neutrino image.
Okay.
So once again, you see the whiteness. All right, this is why Osiris said he descended from Ra, but it's put in a mythological form. This is what they call it, but this is a chart. All right, and Ra represents 6 ether. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right, so here we got cosmic rays also emitting this stuff, the neutrinos, coming from cosmic rays, coming down to the planet. Where do neutrinos appear in nature? Nuclear reactors, the sun, particle accelerator and CERN, supernova stellar collapse. This is why they kept messing with the with the CERN and messing with those atoms and all that, because they know that the energy of their spiritual God is manifested scientifically through CERN. All right, supernovas, Earth atmosphere, astrophysical accelerators, Earth crust, cosmic Big Bang. All right, here's another form: desperately seeking sterile. The 3 known types of neutrinos might be balanced out by a bashful 4th type. So here they have an electron neutrino, muon neutrino, a tau neutrino, and a sterile neutrino. They're not quite sure about this one yet. All right, so you see is what? Weak force, gravity. And it tells you that by the time the Ghost God came on the scene 6,000 years ago, you're talking about the weakness of everything started to get weak. Human beings that were not white, morals started to drop because it was time for the Caucasian race to start ruling. So when you look back at Greece and Rome and all that stuff, and even today in America, you see how everything is overly sexualized and they're just going crazy with the belief systems and how everybody is weak leadership, weak education, weak payments. The people who deserve to get paid are given weak economics, while the greedy and the distraught or the disgusting, they got the strong economics. All right, introduction to 3, right? Because there's 3 of these. The digit 3, like all other digits, can represent many things and have many meanings. For example, 3 can represent space, matter, and time, liquid, solid, gases, sun, moon, and earth, male, female, neuter genders, 9 ether, 6 ether, and ghost, etc. But where the Caucasian race is concerned, it means Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, and 333% of the perfect number, 1,000. 333% of 1,000 is the Caucasian's race limit of mentality. For original man is 666, and for the Ethiopian black race it is 999. The 9-ball count 3, written by Amenhotep Rockefeller, 1971 AD. Listen to summary cosmic reason. Now let's deal with the so-called father of Osiris called Geb or Seb. Geb's role in the Ennead, the primordial god of earth. Within the Ennead, Geb played a crucial role as the embodiment of the earth itself, as the primal deity of the land. He represented the fertile soil, the mountains, and the deserts. He was the foundation upon which the rest of creation unfolded. Geb's association with the earth extended to its bounty, including agriculture, to the growth of vegetation and the cycles of life and death. He was considered the source of all earthly sustenance, a vital connection between the divine and the mortal realms. Geb's children, the gods of the underworld and fertility. Geb's union with Nut resulted in the birth of 5 children: Osiris, Isis, Set, Nephthys, and Horus. This progeny played significant roles in Egyptian mythology, shaping the destinies of the underworld, the realm of the dead, and the cycles of life and death. Osiris, the god of the underworld and rebirth, embodies the cyclical nature of life, death, and resurrection. Isis, the goddess of magic, motherhood, healing, represent the nurturing and protective aspects of the earth. Set, the god of chaos and storms, embodies the destructive forces that challenges the established order. Nephthys, the goddess of mourning and death, serves as a guide for the soul in the journey through the underworld. Horus, the god of kingship and protection, represent the triumph force of light over darkness, order over chaos. Listen to Soundright Cosmic Reason. We have shown you scientifically how Osiris, Isis, and other ether forces arrived on planet Earth as ghost neutrinos. After they left the sun, they are no longer solar forces. They then become earth forces that emanate from within Mother Goddess Earth. Here's an article: Earth absorption of ghost-like neutrinos has been measured for the first time on November 22nd, 2017. Neutrinos are certainly hard to catch, with literal tens of trillions of them flying through our bodies every second as they radiate out the sun
and down from the cosmos without so much as pause to offer an atomic handshake. But we know that the higher the energy of the neutrino, the greater the chance it has of being absorbed by a proton or neutron in an atom's nucleus. We also see that no particle but the neutrino can go through the Earth, says physicist Francis Housen from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, a principal investigator with Ice Cube. Scientists find ghost particles coming from inside the Earth. January 23rd, 2020. Geoneutrinos are produced during radioactive decay inside the Earth. They mean that our planet is ablaze with elusive particles that stream up to the surface but are entirely invisible to our eyes. Right? This is why they say you can't see God and live, because now the Earth absorbs the neutrinos and then send them back up. So this is why Osiris is called the underworld god. All right? By last year, the researchers spotted the new stream of ghost particles, as well as making their measurements more certain. Geoneutrinos are the only direct traces of the radioactive decays that occur inside the Earth, which produce as yet unknown portion of the energy driving all the dynamics of our planet, says Livia Lehova, one of the two current scientific coordinators of Borixno in statement. All right? Listen to Sound Right Cosmic Reason. You now see what your ancestors were saying in these stories. Tar has shown you that ghost neutrinos called geoneutrinos link Osiris to Geb. Geo means earth or Geb. These geoneutrinos are the result of radioactive decay. Decay means to deteriorate or dying. This is what Osiris, the Holy Ghost spirit, is, which is death. Geb was often associated with earthquakes and underworld, and some believe that he had the power to control snakes living in the earth. He was also regarded for his ability to heal wounds. He was often linked to kingship, and the Egyptian throne was referred to as the seat of Geb. Listen to reason. Who people call God, ghost god today, is the underworld god known in ancient times by various names like Osiris, Yama, Anubis, Dish, Deuce, Pluto, Lord, and so forth. The god Osiris is known in mythology and ancient religion as the chief and judge of the dead, who people call the devil today, is the serpent god, known in ancient times by different names like Pan, Satir, Fauna, Satan, Belial, Set, short for serpent, Set, short for serpenthood, Lucifer, Python, etc. All right, so you got these different names. You got Osiris, he's called chief and judge of the dead, who people call the devil today, is the serpent god known in ancient times. So when you see it in the serpent talked about in the Genesis story, that's Osiris, because that was the one who was around with Tahuti and Geb when they ghostized the genetics of the Indian or the Hindu race and brought in the albino race known today as the Caucasian or the white race. All right, Introduction to the Nature Book 1, page, I didn't get the page, number 301, in part. Listen to Sound Right Cosmic Reason. Let's look at some comparisons before we go into the ancient Kemet Egyptian family tree. Who people call Jesus today is the earth god of ancient times, known by Geb, Giza, Jasiah, Issa, Esau, Gabathe, Panthera, Sobek, Poseidon, Neptune, Dagon, Ligba, Vishnu, Lord, etc. The letter J as in Jesus is interchangeable with the letters G as in Jasiah, and G as in Geb means earth. Jesus is indeed the earth god in the style of the Caucasian race. Let it be remembered, always let it be known. Introduction to the Nature Book 1, page 85 in part. Okay, we're finna get into the Osiris, Geb, and Jesus comparison. Osiris is called the god of the afterlife, resurrection, and fertility. Geb is called the god of the earth, fertility, and crops. Jesus, in John 11:25, Jesus said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, shall live. So here we see that the Jesus in the New Testament have components of ghost god and the earth god Geb. And we know that Osiris and Geb predate the New Testament by thousands of years, so they can't jump around this one. All right, another pair he put forth, right? And you see the word crop, because Geb was the god of fertility and crops. All right. Osiris, the god of judgment of the afterlife scene. So you got Osiris sitting here in all white as they judge and weigh the heart and all that stuff. And John 5:22 says, moreover, the Father judged no one, but has entrusted all judgment to what? The Son. All right, so we know that in this case, reality, that Osiris is the son of Geb. All right. Originally, Osiris came from Ra, but the chemical thing is what changed it all, so he became now the son of Geb. All right, Timothy 4:1-2-24 says, I charge thee therefore before God and the Lord Jesus Christ, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing and his kingdom. So we already know that Osiris is the chief and judge of the dead. And we talking about the mental dead, as well as the physical dead of because he ghostized the Caucasian from the Hindu, so they would be considered the same. They would be considered physical dead because he represent them and they represent him. So he judges people at this time, but he's not a righteous judge. He judges based off his religion and all the different religions that he's created and altered since the establishment of the Roman Empire under the first Caesar going forward. So when you want to know what he believes in, all you got to do is look at religions, especially the Catholic religion, and look at the laws and rules in America and things. And that's showing you this is how he judged and the rest of them. All right. Judgment for the great white throne. Then I saw a great white throne and him who was seated on it, from his presence, earth and sky fled away, and no place was found for them. And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne. And books were opened. Then another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged by what was written in the books, according to what they had done. And the sea gave up the dead who were in it. Death and Hades gave up the dead who were in them. And they would judge each one of them according to what they had done. So here you have a picture of the religious. You have Jesus sitting on the throne and got all these people, right? Listen to Sorry Cosmic Reason. It should be clear even more that Jesus is Geb, the father of Christ, which is Ghost God. The rulership is switched back and forth to mislead the followers of Christianity and its many sects. Geb, being the earth god, caused the resurrection of life from its ground and the pigment gods many millions of years later from now. All right, February 15, 2025. However, let's stick to the judgment scenes. The reality is this: these quotes about judgment are not in the future, but have already been taking place since 4038 BCE, 6,063 years ago, to the time of this writing, February 5th, 2025. Let's correct a few more verses misrepresented in the book of Revelation, chapter 20. And I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. Explanation: this is talking about when Leviathan, Lucifer sex force, was exploded from our sun 18 million and 63 years ago. Who was the serpent? How did it beguile Eve? Serpent was Leviathan, a giant sex and spirit force who was able to control peoples and nations by sex and by spirit generated from blood and the waters of the earth. Leviathan, who has many spirit members and parts distributed throughout the earth, were cast from the sun approximately 17,250,000 years ago, just before the evolutionary cycle began. Bible Interpretation and Explanation, Booklet 1, written by Amelie Rockmantar, 1967 AD in part. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil of Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Explanation: in known science, Satan or the devil in these cases are a plural that were turned into a singular. It was actually the moon god, earth god, and ghost god who came together 6,063 years ago. No one laid a hand on them and casted them anywhere. These gods were already here on earth. It means the moon cycle was starting, and these gods are the ones being spoken of here in these quotes. The he is Zupu 6 ether ghost forces being unleashed for the 6,000-year rule called the moon cycle, sun cycle, 4038 BC to 1962 AD. Listen to reason. Who people call gods, ghosts, today is the underworld god, known in ancient times by various names like Osiris, Yama, Animus, Dis, Deus, Pluto, Lord, and so forth. The god Osiris is known in mythology and ancient religion as the chief and judge of the dead, who people call the devil today is the serpent god, known in ancient times by different names, right? We just went through this. All right. Now you can find this Introduction to Nature Book 1, page 85, number 101 in part. Listen to the reason, like all personal things, the first fall of the spirit gods and goddesses of absolute nature was at point 6 west. See figures 3 on page 238 at the beginning of evolution on the smack circle of order when the sons died spiritual death called scientific death in universe science known as noon, and spirit beings became invisible. Like everything else, spirit beings fell to the horizon of existence and into the death cycle. That original fall of the gods by nature grew deeper and deeper down through evolution until the circle reached the bottom, point 3 south of the bottomless pit. The bottom half of the order circle given in the preceding paragraph is the bottomless pit because the shape of the bottom half of the circle is like a pit, and the smack circle is a circle of time instead of distance. Therefore, the circle has no physical bottom, hence the bottom half is called the bottoms of the pit by our ancestors called the ancients. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Listen to the reason. What may be called the second fall of gods and goddesses took place 6,000 years ago when the Caucasian race was ghostized from the Phoenician and East Indian races. The so-called fallen angels are the moon god, Mercury, also called Sin, Siva, Set, Hermes, Thoth, Anubis, etc. The earth god Dagon, also called Leviathan, Geb, Sobek, Poseidon, Neptune, Dagon, the dragon, the serpent, etc. And the underworld god Pluto, also called Osiris, Yama, Hades, Dis, Anubis, Ghost, Judge of the Dead. Listen to the reason. Therefore, it is true that the negative forces of nature known as Satan, the moon god Sin, the earth god Leviathan, and underworld god Pluto started taking over rulership of planet Earth from the sun god Tar at the beginning of the moon cycle, which was the starting point for religion approximately 6,000 years ago. And since then, this time there have been Introduction to the Nature Book 2, pages 239 to 240, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up, and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more till 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. Explanation: the bottomless pit was spoken of above. Here's the drawing giving a better understanding. So this comes out of the Nature Book. It shows you where we at. We're here. We're in the lowest part of hell. All right. There's no seal, as the Bible editors written in this verse. However, we are all trapped in the bottom half called hell, super noon science. So up here would be the line in time, not in distance. But we will be in the bottom half. All of existence is down here. All right. And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus and for the word of God, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. The explanation: this quote is made to make the reader believe that people who were beheaded were killed because they didn't worship the beast. But you must look at it from the correct lens. It says judgment was given unto them, end quote. The them is Jesus, Geb, and God, which is Ghost God, or Christ, of which since Christianity has spread, has did so with much killing and beheading in the name of Jesus, Geb, and Christ, Ghost. All right, all you got to do is just look at the Crusades. That was a lot going on back then. And they talk about Islam was sprayed with the sword. So was Christianity. The reality, people who did not worship these aforementioned gods were still killed in the name of Jesus and God, who are indeed the beast, under different religious names versus their older pantheistic names they had before religion was even a thought. In other words, before 6,063 years ago from the time of this writing, February 16, 2025 AD, even today humans are still dying in the names of these gods of the bottom half called held in modern religions. Let's continue. But the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Explanation. We will focus on the 1,000 years that are mentioned in verses 4 and 5. Listen to reason. The story of the Caucasian Bible concerning the flood of Noah happening since the birth of Cain, the Caucasian race, is an interpolation, a literary injection from time immemorial designed to cover up the fact that Cain still exists, and that Cain, the Caucasian race, is the predominant and oppressive force of the Caucasian Bible, helped by the earth god Dagon, the moon god Sin, and the underworld god Pluto. The flood of Noah occurred approximately 18 million years ago. It was part of the 0.6 West cataclysm. The sun god Amun-Ra, Re-Harakti, was replaced by the god Horus as the celestial firepower, and thereby one of the mountains of Moses was called Horeb, meaning mountain of the sun. The sun god Horus is the mythological son of Osiris, Pluto, according to legend. Therefore, the sun god Re-Harakti of the Ethiopian race had to fade into the background and become known as Horus, the son of Osiris, because the moon god Sin, Mercury, the traditional messenger of the gods, had taken over spiritual leadership for the first 4,000 years of the moon cycle, and Osiris, who was active along the moon god, took over spiritual leadership for the last 2,000 years of the moon cycle. Spirit beings can be tricky and elusive. Let it be remembered, always let it be known. Introduced to the Nature of Nature, Book 2, page 131. Listen to sound right cosmic reason. The 1,000 years is not only a half truth, but it's also not a future event. We have already exposed Christ's ghost, whose Greek name is Osiris. According to noon science, Osiris, or Christ, took over spiritual leadership after the moon god Tahuti Thoth ran his 4,000 years of the moon cycle, 6,000 years BC to 38 BC, 4,000 years exact. At this point, Osiris Christ began his rulership during Caesar Augustus' reign, 27 BC, forward to the end of his spiritual presidency in 1962 AD. All right, Wikipedia, list of Roman rulers. Eventually 60 plus years to change from ghost power, that transition of power to the sun god Horus Hetero in the sun cycle, the cycle of the Ethiopian black race and all other dark and oppressed people worldwide. The quote that said they will rule with Christ has already occurred in a religious sense. It's called Christianity worldwide, and also white supremacy, ghost supremacy, but it's just Osiris, Isis, and three ethers political title. Anything that references white, anything good or bad, is other forms of honor and worship for this spirit couple, Assad, Usil, Osiris, and white Aset, Issa, or Isis. Let this be remembered and let this be known. Listen to reason. Ghost God, same as ghost spirit, is almost anti-nature in the sense that they, male and female, tend to be the leader and undoing the original creator did. And ghost does this by destroying, oppressing, suppressing, and changing original forms, original nature compositions, and original natural culture of original persons and things, and perform these anti-nature processes by indeed spellbinding person and things to get the work done, and also cause them to deny the power and authority of absolute nature as the one supreme being. The ghost god is Osiris, also called Anubis, Yama, Pluto, etc., chief of the dead. Introduction to the Nature of Nature, Book 1, page 79 in part. Let's continue. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection on such. The second death have no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Explanation. The only priests that are spoken of, it could be, are those of the Catholic Church. You got God, the Pope, cardinals, archbishop, bishops, the priests, and then the people. The point of this, Osiris is hidden throughout the book of Revelation, of which this writer will demonstrate. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. Explanation. All right. These are all the 42 judges of Ma'at depicted above this scene. All right, so you got Osiris here, and here go the judges. Now look at this number 42 appearing again. Revelation 13:4, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? Revelation 20, verse 5. There was given unto him a mouth speaking great things, and blasphemies and powers are given unto him 40 and 2 months. See, these 42 deities up here with Osiris. Revelation chapter 11, 1 through 2. But the court which is without the temple leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread underfoot 40 and 2 months. Listen to sound right, cosmic reason. You can see Osiris and the other 42 deities sitting for judgment. Here is a list of those 42 deities who were doing the judging alongside ghost goddess deceptively spoken in Revelation chapter 4. As a matter of fact, let's read some of those 42 deities and move on to more Osiris footprint hidden within this book. All right. So what we're going to do is just look at the names of these deities, because the person who dies have to recite these things that they didn't commit these crimes. These are called the assessors of Ma'at, were 42 minor and ancient Egyptian deities of the Ma'at, charged with judging the souls of the dead in the afterlife by joining the judgment of Osiris in the weighing of the heart. And this is another part too. This is why, especially Christians, when this is where they get the weighing of the heart, and they put it into the Bible. And that's why all the time when you talk to people, they say, man, God knows my heart. He sees my heart. God knows I'm a good person. So when you get into the weighing of the heart, and you know what that is, you know that they took the heart and they weigh it on a feather, and Tahuti weighs it, and if the feather is heavier than the heart, you're in trouble. But if the heart is heavier than the feather, then you good. All right, so this is where all this stuff come from. All right, you got Usek Nemet in Heliopolis, right? False Strata. He's over falsehood. You got all these gods here: falsehood, robbery, stealing, murder, stealing grain, purloin offering, stealing God's property, demolisher, disturber, youth, foreteller, you of the altar, face behind him, hotfoot, the secret place, cavern of Rome, the dusk, flame, bone breaker, green of flame, you of the cavern, white of teeth, the shambles, house of 30, lying, taking food, cursing, adultery, causing tears, killing a sacred bull, stealing land, eavesdropping, the darkness, what has he got? Net, jet, fatet, up Egyptian gnome. Okay, here we go. Darkness, active, impatience, volubility of speech, wrongdoing, conjurative, against the conjures against the king, stopping water flow, complaint, being angry, the abyss, your house, arrogance, adultery again, polluting the body, the city, making distinction for oneself, bestow the power of the city, making distinction for ourselves, the cavern, the side of land, circle that brings and gives. So these are the 42 deities that they deceptively placed as representation of 42 months. All right. What is very interesting is that if you look at all the sins that are judged by each deity, you can find a biblical sin to match it. Here's another reference, Revelation chapter 2:23. I will kill her children with death, and all the churches shall know that I am he who searches the kidneys and hearts, and I will give to each one of you according to your works and in part. Listen to Osiris cosmic reading. This verse was definitely connected to Osiris and his ancient Kemet pharaoh mummification ceremonies. Abstract, the fact that the ancient Egyptian embalmers left the kidneys in place indicates there's certain importance for the deceased and afterlife. Kidney was also given special importance in other ancient cultures and being associated with the most secret and hidden emotions. They were used as organs testing. The ancient Egyptians moved all of the internal organs during the embalming process except for the kidneys and the heart. All right, the importance of the heart in Egypt is unquestionable, as it was the most important organ in the judgment of the dead. However, excavations indicate that part of the heart and the kidneys were also left in the mummies. This was mainly considered to be the cause due to their retroperitoneal position, which together with the surrounding fat tissue made them very difficult to cut up, or simply because ancient Egyptians were not aware of the existence. Nevertheless, the purpose of this work is to show that the ancient Egyptians were actually aware of the kidneys, and that it was indeed the embalmer's intention to leave them in place to point out some of the possible reasons for this practice, whereas to demonstrate a similar significance of kidneys in other cultures. When searching for possible explanation of why the ancient Egyptians left the kidneys in place during the embalming process, it would be relevant to look at other cultures, as that might throw some light upon the physiological significance assigned to this viscous in antiquity. For instance, the Babylonians performed hepatoscopy and extended entrail prophecies to kidney divination, while the Syrians regarding the kidneys as the seat of strength. So again, you have to ask yourself, what is this quote even meaning before you knew what you was told? So I will search the kidney and the heart. So this is the stuff that we trying to let y'all understand about this. All right, true men to cosmic peace in wartime. Stay tuned for part 3. All right.
You.
I'm here.
So we're coming up to 0122. So floor's all yours, Tar.
Say it again.
Floor's all yours.
Well, one thing I did, I'm gonna put it in the next one. I ain't gonna say nothing about it here, but I heard something to add on to part 3, and it was really good listening to it again, because it's just showing how serious, we've been so locked out of what's going on. And this is why religion doesn't talk about, they don't teach about previous religions or pantheons, and they'll try to talk as if, they overlook and try to make you think that Christianity is original, and it's not original. And it doesn't have a start in the beginning. Or they'll try to say, oh, what happened in the beginning with the snake and the serpent and Eve was a prelude to something in the future. And they try to tie Christianity, but they can't tie Christianity, just like they can't tie Jesus, the person they're talking about, into Genesis. When you read it, there's nothing in there that tells you anything about a religion. It just says, you had a male and female, and they said in Genesis chapter 1, male and female, he created them. And a lot of them interpret that as some type of hermaphrodite group that's different from the Adam and Eve that came later on in chapter 2. And so, but when you look at it, you be okay, where's the religion? Since they tell you that you have to have one. And they couldn't tell you what Adam and Eve's religion was. It's too much left out. And it leads them to guess. Or they'll say, well, Jesus was back there because when he said, before Abraham was, I am. Right? And they try to say, well, that was a name of God. When they try to say, oh, that was, some say Yahuwah, or I am that I am, or oh, he is who he is. It depends on what language you're using. But we know that try to say
Jesus was in back that Jesus is God. So yeah, that you can't no spirits if around because the spirit things from the plant, and that's including vegetation, water, and we know that the top, even though they're giving you in the Adam and Eve, and watching the video a little bit last night, I think I sent it to my mom and them, having a problem, the tiger ladies, they don't story was those rivers to the rivers that's mentioned in the Bible. So like you said, you were not well traveled way back, and they were a lot of part of the world, you know. But we know that you know the book was wearing off, and that's Christianity and a lot of religions exposed all the way to medical era. Who wrote what? They don't have no real original. There's no original stuff. They don't have. If you watch different people talking, they don't have the originals, and those books were written way after all people existed. So you got room for error ways. But you got wanted to add anything to it? We got like a few minutes left.
No, you're very interesting video again. Lots of information and lots of great topics there, you know. I mean, astrology is my favorite, you know. That's where I like my astrology and science, you know. The Bible, I've done with that long time. So that part, yes. So that's that, you know, that doesn't concern myself. But yeah, it's a great video, and I for myself, I don't see any confliction to say that the Holy Bible definitely adopted the ancient Egyptian theories or the scriptures, and there's so many evidence presented, and tonight we've seen some more evidence to say that Christianity definitely is not, you know, has many holes in it, like many religions. So yeah, what more can I say? You know what I mean? It was a nice video. That nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna start on part 3 when we get off of here. Yeah, the you know, in noon, you know, the life in general, we're talking about it's the life, it's symbol in bottom half. So it's and and it's not even the Ethiopian Ankh. The Ethiopian Ankh has a round loop. The loop they got is kind of more elongated. Said that was the original Egyptian Ankh. But either way, the bottom half, the life of death, is not the type of life that will represent the top half. Those and things. And we have these conversations about the cross represents death, and the Ankh We talking about what are the substances? Again, this is the question you have to ask that around in Egyptology or chemistry. Life. Okay, what is life? What are we talking about here? Can we talk about what life is? Because there's different types of life. That's like me saying, I'm about that life. Okay, what kind of life? But a lot of times they talking about the life of death. If you're a gang about that life, I'm about the life of the streets. That ain't life, that's death. You see what I'm saying? Or people will tell you in Christianity, you know, Jesus is the way. You know, Christ is the way. He's the way to life. But when you look at, you say his claim to fame is that you can live, but I'm already alive. Right. What are you talking about? Live again after death? Now we're talking about this is the Osiris religion. But they don't know nothing about the religion of Osiris or the cult. And so they just saying the same thing. So when I get into book 3, I'm gonna show you that again. That they are using what Osiris' whole religion was about. And they revamped it, the gods, so the Caucasian can continue on worshiping them in another form. The same way they was being worshipped by people before the Caucasian, which was our race and the other people that entered Egypt and Africa and took over. It's still the same gods. It doesn't matter about the place per se. And that's where the disconnect come in, because most of the people that's talking about Kemet or Egypt, they don't understand that. They can look and say, oh yeah, you know, Ra was Zeus in Rome, but they still can't connect that. They'll believe that, oh, they just took components from Kemet and just create. No, they didn't. Humans is not creating nothing. Those deities is already here. They are giving them the inspiration to come up with this stuff. At the same time, make you believe, or the followers generate that they exist because they don't have no experience with them. That's why when you're dealing with the occult, or those who the spirit God, they have the experience. Part they can't tell you they had an experience, something like directly that they can tell you without a surety. Yes, the God that I worship exists. They can't tell you that. They can't. When you look at the age of things in religion, you don't have somebody saying I was all of them. You don't have them saying like when they said they had the Pentecost in the book of Acts, which that's all it was an act. Where they said they all came together and people different in the same tongues, had flames of fire over everybody's head. They don't have no experience like that. Or they went up in a mountain and God spoke from a burning bush. They don't have these stories. So all you see is a bunch of these mentally dead people arguing on the internet, back to back. But when it comes to experiences, they don't have any. And that's because the forces don't care for them like that. They only care about keeping TX and all these other people going with the blessings and getting the money and Billy Carson and all these people who are, and they give them the look, but it's nothing that they can come concrete, nothing, because they control the Pope and all these folks who then kept all this information in vaults, and centuries, and making sure that you never get the truth. So that's all I wanted to add on this. We'll get to part 3 soon as we get off of here. I'll let you know when I'm ready again, come back and do another part to the same topic.
Okie doke. All right. Peace out, bro.
All right, true
Yeah,
peace.
yeah. Got one more message here at the end. True peace all. We out, people. We out.